In the early 1830s, a lonely young girl named Ellen calls out for a supernatural being to ease her solitude. Her plea awakens a mysterious entity who demands her eternal devotion. By 1838, Ellen is married to Thomas Hutter and living in the German town of Wisburg. To secure their financial future, Thomas accepts an assignment from his employer, Herr Knock, to sell the dilapidated Grunewald manor to the reclusive Count Orlok. Ellen begs him to stay, haunted by dreams of marrying death itself, dreams that both terrify and entice her. Despite her distress, Thomas leaves her in the care of his wealthy friend Friedrich Harding, alongside Friedrich's pregnant wife Anna and their 2 young daughters. Traveling to the Carpathian Alps of Transylvania, Thomas is met with hostility from the local villagers for dealing with Orlok. One night, he witnesses a group of Roma exhuming and impaling a suspected vampire, causing the corpse to vomit blood. The next morning, he finds the village abandoned and his horse missing. Pressing on alone, he encounters an unmanned carriage that carries him to Orlok's castle. Orlok, a strange and menacing figure, forces Thomas to finalize the property sale immediately. During dinner, Thomas accidentally cuts himself and blacks out, later waking with bite marks on his chest. Orlok steals a locket containing a lock of Ellen's hair and coerces Thomas into signing a mysterious document, written in an occult script he cannot read, which Orlok implies finalizes the sale of Grunewald Manor. Growing increasingly weak, Thomas later discovers Orlok sleeping in a coffin and attempts to stake him, but the vampire awakens and feeds on him again. Managing to escape into the wilderness, Thomas is rescued by Orthodox nuns and nursed back to health. Meanwhile, Orlok sets sail for Wisburg aboard a plague-ridden ship, killing its crew as he travels. Back home, Ellen suffers from sleepwalking and seizures that baffle her doctor, Wilhelm Sievers. Seeking answers, Wilhelm consults his former mentor, Albin Eberhard von Franz, a Swiss scientist ostracized for his studies in alchemy and the occult. Albin believes Ellen has fallen under the spell of a demonic plague-bearing vampire, the Nosferatu. Meanwhile, Herr Knock is institutionalized after killing and eating raw sheep. Suspecting him to be Orlok's servant, Wilhelm and Albin search his office and confirm that Count Orlok is indeed the Nosferatu. Thomas returns to Wisburg just as Orlok's plague begins ravaging the town. Knock murders a guard, escapes custody, and escorts Orlok to Grunewald Manor. That night, Orlok visits Ellen, revealing that while he is incapable of love, their fates are now intertwined by her childhood vow, making his desire for her insatiable. The document he tricked Thomas into signing is revealed to have nullified their marriage. Orlok gives Ellen a choice. She must willingly submit to him within 3 nights, or he will kill Thomas and allow the plague to consume Wisburg. Desperate to resist Orlok, Ellen confesses her past connection with him to Thomas before they make love, an act that Orlok perceives telepathically. Enraged, he retaliates by slaughtering Anna and her children. Overcome with grief, Friedrich succumbs to the plague while lying beside his wife's corpse. Albin's research suggests that a Nosferatu can only be destroyed by the willing sacrifice of a pure-hearted maiden. Knowing she is the only one who can stop the plague, Ellen conspires with Albin to keep Thomas away so he cannot interfere. Meanwhile, Thomas, Albin, and Wilhelm storm Grunewald Manor, where they mistakenly kill Knock after finding him sleeping in Orlok's coffin. Realizing Albin's deception, Thomas rushes home to save Ellen, while Albin destroys Orlok's coffin, preventing the vampire from retreating. Ellen summons Orlok to her bedroom, reaffirming her eternal pledge. As he feeds on her blood, she keeps him distracted until dawn. When the sun rises, Orlok is consumed by its light and perishes. Thomas arrives just in time to hold Ellen's hand as she dies, Orlok's lifeless body draped over hers. Albin confirms that her sacrifice has freed Wiesberg from the plague of the Nosferatu.